here is my own modeling workspace. This is what I'm going to be using. So we are going to start with a basic mug. It looks basic, but you are going to learn some things technical when we model this mug. So the first thing you want to do is to shift right click and hit on cylinder. Now, when you are modeling, you need to start with the shape close to what you are modeling. A mug is rounded, and that is what you want to start with. So since the cylinder is rounded, you want to start with the cylinder because it is close to the mug. I have the reference on my tablet here. That is why you can't see it on the screen. But if you are modeling, you can make use of PureRef to open it on your screen, or you can open the reference on a separate monitor depending on how you want to do it. I just want the whole focus to be on modeling. This is not all about holding your hands and teaching you how to do everything step by step. This is all about mastering the modeling technique in Maya. So we need to get technical from the beginning. But when it is needed to make use of any reference, we are going to make use of reference. Now, when you add the cylinder, you don't just want to start modeling with this cylinder. You need to do some basic calculation first. Now, that calculation is going to be where you want the hand of your mug to be, if you want the hand to be accurate. Now, when you look at all axes of this cylinder, you will notice that each axis is hitting on a particular edge of this cylinder, and that is not what we want. We want one of these axes to be in the middle of a face. Now we have the face, we have the edge, and we have the vertex. Now we want one of these axes to hit the face of our cylinder so that we can make use of that face to create the hand of our mug. Now you can go into the attribute editor, but we are going to learn some shortcut and some advanced techniques we can use to speed up our modeling in Maya. Now, when you just create a shape, if you have not modified that shape, like maybe modify the component itself, like the face, the vertex, and the edge, when you hit the T key on your keyboard, it is going to bring out the properties of that particular shape you have added to your scene. Now we need to reduce the subdivision axis of our cylinder till we get what we want. So I'm going to come down to the subdivision axis from here. It is currently set to 20. So now we are going to decrease this till we get what we want. So let's keep going. Now you can make use of 18 because we find out that this axis is falling in the middle. We don't want to get too crazy at the early stage. We just want to keep everything simple. We don't want to make use of too many divisions. You can increase the divisions as you keep going, but it is always good for you to start small so that it will be easy for you to just manipulate your object to get what you want. So I'm going to still come down till I get something good. So we're currently in 14. So I think going down to something like 10, which is this, it is really looking good because there is a way in Maya you can view or you can add divisions to your object without affecting your object itself. That is also known as smooth preview, and we are going to take a look at that. Now 10 is okay. You can see that we have on the z-axis, we have this face and this axis in the middle of this face. So we can consider that face as our handle of the mug, and that is it. Everything works well. Now to take a look at the divisions, that is if we want to get smooth edges, because if we take a look at this now, you can see that it is not properly rounded. So if we want to make this to be rounded properly, when we hit the 3 key on our keyboard, it is going to take us into the smooth preview. Yeah, I know something went wrong, but don't worry. If you take a look at this now, you can see that it is rounded completely, but we lost some detail. Well, you really don't need to worry about that because we are going to take care of that later. Now, for us to start modeling the mug, we need to delete all these caps. We have made use of the axis to get what we want on the z-axis. So for the time being, I am going to hide the grid, and when I need the grid, I am going to bring the grid back by making use of alternate plus G to hide the grid. Now we need to delete the top faces and the bottom faces so that we can start manipulating our object to create the mug. I'm going to right click, go into the face mode, hold down tab and paint select the face, and go to the bottom part and also paint select the face. And I'm just going to hit on delete to delete those faces. The bottom part of our mug is a little bit rounded, but not that rounded, and it is also sharp. So we right click, go into the edge mode, double click on this edge to select the edge completely. Now, like I said earlier, that we are going to be using some advanced technique in Maya to model so that the modeling is going to go fast. Normally, when you select the edge and you want to extrude, you are going to hit on Ctrl plus E to enable the extrusion. But you can also do Smart Extrude in Maya. Keep in mind the Smart Extrude is different from the Smart Extrude that was introduced in Maya 2025. If you go to the modeling toolkit, you are going to get the Smart Extrude here. It is different. I really don't know if it's the same, but it is different. Now, when you have these edges selected, you can hit on R to activate the scale tool. When you hold down shift, you will be able to extrude. You can see that we have extrude. When you hover on any axis, you are going to get the extrude. What we want to do is to offset inward of our mug. Now we are going to hold down shift and scale from the middle to offset inward. We also need to take this up, but before we do that, we also need to extrude. Now I am going to merge this vertex or the whole edges to the center. But if I just do it like this, it is going to create some weird shape. And of course, it is still going to create the weird shape when we merge it to the center, depending on how we do it. But we don't want it to be that crazy. So I'm going to do another extrude. But before I do another extrude, I'm going to hit on W and just take this up a little bit, just like that. I don't want it to go in that much. Now, I'm going to hit on R, hold down Shift, and extrude inward one more time. This is completely fine. And if you want to do it again, you can go ahead and do it again. Now, the reason why I am doing this is just so I have some holding edge here. Now, once you are done with this, you can just hold down Shift, right click, and move your mouse cursor up that says merge or collapse. Let's come back here that says merge / collapse edges. And when you hover your mouse there, you are going to get other options. Now, select merge edges to center. And you can see that that last edge we have there has been merged to the center. Well, it's really okay. Now, if we hit on 3 to go into the sub-D mode or the smooth preview, you can see that we have that rounded edge, but our curve is not really looking good. Now, we need to add holding edge to it. So we're going to right click and go into the edge mode, double click here and select the whole loop. And this time we will want to apply a bevel. You can hit on Ctrl B to bevel. So depending on how rounded you want this edge to be, that is how you are going to do it. Currently, the segment is set to 1. That's why we just have only 2, which is this and this. You can increase and decrease the fraction from here. If you are doing it, if it is too fast, you want to make it slow, you can hold down Ctrl and Shift to reduce the speed as you slide on the fraction. Now I am going to add, I'm not going to add any rounded edges from here. I am just going to turn off the chamfer so that we are going to have sharp edge. But the fraction, I am not going to reduce the fraction more than this because I don't want that to be very tight. I just want to have a little rounded edge there. Now, if I hit on 3 to go into the subdue mode, you can see what we have here. You can see now when I go into object mode, click off, you can see that we have that sharp edge there, and it is also rounded, and everything is looking so good from here. Now, when you look at this, you can see how it is looking. But when I go out, you can see that we have some edges there that are not really smooth. Well, we'll go into work on that later. Now click on this, hit on 1 to go back. If by any chance you still want to work on the edges, you want to reduce the bevel, you can see that you can't access the bevel anymore. And if you have not deleted history in Maya, you will be able to access this bevel. You can go into the channel editor from here and you are going to get the histories from here. So this is the last bevel that we apply. You can click on it and do some modifications to it from here. But another way, and the way that I prefer the most, is by hitting on T on your keyboard. It is going to bring it back as long as you have not done anything new after this bevel. You are going to get it here. But if you want to go to the channel box, you can go to the channel box. That is if you have done anything aside of this bevel. That is when you are going to make use of the channel box. But I don't want to do anything, so I'm just going to just click off to take it away. Now we need to work on the handle of our cup. But before we work on the handle, you can see that we don't have any thickness of this cup. When we work on the handle, we are going to have issues here. So the first thing we need to do is to go into the edge mode, double click and select the loop. And when we select the loop, we are going to hit on R, hold on shift, and we are going to scale in a little, just like this. And now we need to extrude inward. So we hit on W, hold on shift, and we are going to extrude inward just at that point. Now, if you want to do something like, there is something you can also do. So I'm going to undo this. You can go into the object mode. With the cup selected, you can hit on Ctrl E to extrude and increase the thickness. But I don't like this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to have all these many edge inside of my cup. That is why I am not doing that. So I'm going to make use of R, extrude inwards, just like that. Hit on W, hold on shift, and extrude downwards, just like that. Hit on R, hold on shift, scale in, just like that a little, and hold on shift again and scale in, just like that. Now I am going to, let me just scale in one more, just like that. Shift right click, merge edges to center. Okay, everything is okay here. You can go ahead and delete anyone if you don't want them. Now I am going to right click, go into the edge mode, select this edge, hit on Ctrl B to bevel the edge, and I am going to turn off the chamfer and reduce the fraction, just like this. Now when I hit on 3, you can see what inside of the curve is looking like. It is really looking good, awesome. But when you look at the top, you can see that this top is rounded, and we don't want that. Well, we want it to be rounded, but not as losing those hard edges as it is losing it now. So we're going to hit on 1 to go back into the normal mode. We're going to double click to select that loop round, hold on shift, double click and select the loop round, hit on Ctrl B to bevel, and I'm just going to leave it this way. You can play around with the fraction, but I'm really okay with this. Now we can hit on 3. When we hit on 3, you can see what we have here. Now if we go into the object mode, take a look at this. We have a nice mug. That is really looking so good. Well, you don't need to worry about every other things you have here. I know we have some issues here, but you don't need to worry about that because it is going to be fixed. Now let's hit on one to go back into the normal mode. It is time for us to introduce the handle of our mug. Now we're going to bring back the grid so that we can target that particular edge. So I'm going to make use of this face here, but we can just add the handle from here. We also need some faces we can use, not the whole face itself. So we're going to shift right click while in the object mode, go to insert edge loop 2, but this time we go to the option here to open up the option of the insert edge loop 2. We want multiple edge loop, so I'm going to select multiple edge loops from here, and 2. I'm going to click on any edge here to insert the 2 edge, hit on R and scale it to take it up just like that. This is okay. I think I'm going to move this down a bit. Okay, now we can shift right click while in the edge mode. We can scroll down here and go to the insert edge loop 2, and we still need 2 edge loop. We're going to click and add the edge loop. Now we can reset, close this, hit on R, and we can just scale this up just like that. So depending on how wide you want the handle of your mug to be, that is how you are going to leave the second edge loops you added. So I think I'm really okay with what I have here. So I'm going to right click and go into the face mode. I'm going to select this face and select this face. Now, most of the one of the common mistake beginners always do is that when they want to extrude a face, they always just extrude the face just like that. Now with it, they can just extrude the face like this, which is okay, but it is going to create some clipping with all this edge here. That is why it is always good for you to offset the faces before you extrude those faces. And I know at this point you want to make use of this method to offset the face. Of course, you can see what is going on here. So that technique of the smart extrude has its own limits. You don't want to use it here. So at this point, you just go and hit on Control E to extrude and go to the offset and offset inward just like this. Now we want to repeat another extrude, and I know you can just drag it here, but if you are used to Maya, you know that it's not going to work that way. You need to repeat the extrusion. Now you can make use of Control E to repeat the extrusion, but if you just apply a command in Maya, if you hit on G, it is going to repeat that same command. So we are going to work with the local translate Z to bring them out just like this. Okay, this is fine. This is looking so good. Now we can click off, but we don't want this to be as long as this because the handle of the mug is always rounded. So what we are going to do is to select this face, hit on W, take it inward, and it is not always straight, except you want the hand of your own mug to be straight. That is when you can do that, but I don't want mine to be straight. I'm just going to drag it up just like this. Awesome. And this, I can take it inward just a little, just like that. Now, the next thing we are going to do is to delete these two faces. So we're going to select the faces and Control delete those faces. Of course, you are going to start, you will go into the edge mode and start, you select all the whole edge loops and start trying to extrude with the smart extrude. You extrude and try to rotate so that you can connect it with this one here. But my friend, that is going to take you a lot of time to achieve. So all you just have to do is to select the first loop and select this second loop by double clicking on both of them and holding down Shift. Go into your modeling toolkit, and this button you have here, just hit it, bridge. Of course, it is going to give you something weird. You are not expecting miracle to happen. You are going to do it yourself manually. Now, the first thing we need to do is to come down to this curve type, click on this menu and set it to blend. Nothing happened. Now we head over to the division and we are going to increase the division. But take a look at this. It is not really doing any good. So we come to the direction, the target, click on that and set it to plus. And now take a look at what happened. It is looking good. It is really looking awesome. Now we can increase the divisions, and as we increase the divisions, you can now see that we have fixed that issue. It is now really looking so good, but it is not looking as good as it is supposed to be. Now, in a situation where you don't want to add more division, you can make use of the bridge offset, and that it's going to help you align the faces very well. So it depends on what you want to do. We can also increase the division, and now when we increase the division, you can see that the bridge offset, it's not really looking good. You can also increase it or just take it back. So you can use that to fix it depending on how you want it. But I think I'm just going to reduce the division. Let's try 4 for the division and make the bridge offset 1. Okay, now this part is not really looking good. So we're going to double click to select the edge, hit on W, and we're just going to bring that down just like that. And now we're going to double click and move this a little bit up, not that. Double click to select the whole loop and move this a little bit forward and take it up just a bit. Now, when we hit on 3, you can see what we have here. Right click, go into the object mode. And now you can see that our mug is looking so good. Now you can move this away from the top if you don't want it to be too close. Of course, it's not supposed to be too close, but I'm just going to leave mine that way. Or we can also do something by going into the face mode. When we go into the edge mode, we can double click to select that loop, hold down Shift, double click, and double click to select this loop round. And we can also double click to select this loop round. No, we're not going to select that loop round, so let's hold down Control and double click to deselect that loop. Now we can just drag this up and increase it if that is what you want. Now we can hit on 3 to go into the smooth preview, and now you can see everything is looking good. But there is something missing. We still need to do something on the handle of our mug. So I'm going to hit on 1, hold on Alt and G to hide my grid. We're going to select this loop and this loop. We're just going to drag this up because that is how the hand of the mug always look like most of the times. And we're going to select this and also select this and drag it down just like that. And we hit on 3 to go into the smooth preview, and we can right click, go into the object mode. This is really looking so good, but we just have some little issues, which is really okay. It is not that crazy. Now we can say we don't like the way all these are looking. All we just have to do now is to hold on Shift, right click, and go into smooth to add division. So the number of divisions you want to add, you can just go ahead and do that. I can add extra divisions to this, 3, 2, depending on numbers of division you want to add. But the higher the division, the slower your PC it's going to be. So you want to reduce the division. So I think I'm going to make use of division just 2, which is really okay. Now we can click off and we have all this. So this is looking good. It is time for us to save our work. If you are just doing a model for fun, you can just save this anywhere. But if you want to stay organized, you need to first of all create a project folder. When you create a project folder, we also have some issues here, like this being rounded. There is something you can do. You can just add an extra edge, but I'm really okay with this, so I'm not going to do anything. Now, to save this, we can just hit on Ctrl S and save this, but this is going to save it into the default Maya project folder, or you can create your own project folder. So the right way to save it's by going over to File, scroll down to Project Window from here, and this window is going to open up. You want to save this inside of its own folder so that when you apply texture, maybe you texture in Substance Painter, you can drag the textures and drop them inside of this folder. You can see everything we can create from here. So right now we cannot do anything here, which is the current project. So to create a new project folder, we just need to hit on New, and that is going to save in your document, in your folder, document, Maya, and project. I have these on my external hard disk, but by default, it is going to be on your C drive. That is what you are going to get here. So I'm just going to hit on New, and now I'm just going to name this to mug, or maybe coffee mug, depending on the one you want. And all these folders are going to be created inside of this mug folder. And now just hit on accept. But if you want to change the location, click on this folder icon to change the location. Click on accept, and that is going to create the mug folder for you. And when you hit on Ctrl S to save, you realize that it is going to open that document Maya project mug and scenes. So from here, you can just give your model a name, or name your scene and just give it a mug and hit on save, and that is going to save. But most of the times it is always good to do increment and save. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to undo these divisions that we have added. I don't want the full division. We are going to undo those division, and we can right click, go into the object mode. Now I will go to File, hit on Save, and I am going to select this, right click, go to Smooth, and give this a divisions of 2, and then click off. And now I will go over to File and hit on Increment and Save. Now when you look here, you can see that we have mug.001. Now the mug with just less division is the regular mug we save, and the mug with more division is mug.001. So if we go to File, Save Scene As, you can see that we have mug and mug.001. Today we are going to be doing something a little bit advanced, but not difficult. We are going to be modeling a water bottle today. You are going to find the reference to everything we are modeling inside of the project file. As usual, you want to start with a shape closer to what you are modeling. So I'm going to start with a cylinder, and I am going to repeat the same thing I did with the cup. I'm going to repeat the same thing I did with the mug. I'm going to hit on T and just set the subdivisions to 10. That is fine. Okay, everything remains the same. Now you are going to understand the reason why I did this. For the mug, we did it because of the hand, and for this, you are going to understand the reason why I did it. Okay, now we can turn off the grid and go into the face mode. For this, let's go into the object mode, select this object and go into the face mode, we can turn on anti-aliasing to get rid of those jagged edges. Let me zoom in closely so that you can see that this is without anti-aliasing and this is with anti-aliasing. You can now see how solid those edges are looking. We're just going to paint select the face and also paint select the bottom face and hit on delete. Okay, for the bottom it's just going to be similar to what we did for the mug, but not really similar. It's going to be different, and I'm just going to double click and select the bottom face, hit on R. I'm going to scale inward just a bit, something like this will be fine, and I'm going to scale it in again, drag this up, hit on R and extrude inward again, W, and just take this up just like that, and I'm just going to merge to the center. Okay, this is fine. Now we are going to right click, go into the edge mode, double click to select this edge, hit on Ctrl B to bevel. This time I am not going to add any segment and I am not going to be turning off the chamfer. I'm just going to reduce the fraction just a bit. Now I can right click, go into the object mode, hit on 3 to go into the smooth preview. Okay, this is close to what we want, but we are going to fix that later. Now you can see that this edge here, it's going too far from this bottom edge here. That is why it looks like this corner it's less rounded. You can go into the edge mode, double click on this edge, hit on W and bring this down to do something to fix it, but you really don't need to do that. So if you're doing something like that, just stop it. It's not going to work. I'm going to show you how we can do that. Did we create another cylinder? Yeah, we create another, so we can just delete that. It's not needed. Now we are going to select the edge mode, select all these edges and drag this up. Not so much, depending on how long you want your water bottle to be, that is what you are going to do. For me, I don't want this to be too long, and then this size is just good, maybe just a little, it's fine. Now I'm going to hit on R, scale this inward a little, and okay, that I don't want, so I'm going to drag it up just like this, just a little. Yeah, this is fine. Now I am going to extrude. I don't want that top to be very big, just like that. Okay, this is fine. Now we are going to select this edge and this edge. These edges needs to be more rounded. So what we are going to do is to hit on Ctrl B to bevel, and this is fine. So I'm just going to click off, hit on 3. Now you can see we have something weird going on. It is what we want, but you can see that it's looking like the water bottle, it's rounded from the top down to the bottom. Don't worry, we are going to fix that. Now it is time for us to work on the closing of the water bottle. There is a little shiny part of the water bottle. If you are making use of the reference, or if you are going through the reference, you will understand what I am talking about. Now, let me remind you once more. The reason why I am not putting the reference on the screen is to train your eyes very well. Take the reference, put the reference one side, and model on Maya separately. The reference we are even making use of, it's not a reference for modeling. It's just a regular reference we can add and model from it. When you are making use of a reference for modeling, you will import the reference into Maya and make use of it to create your model. But with this technique, you will be able to train your eye, see the details on your reference, and be able to add that detail without even importing the reference into Maya. That is one of the reasons why I am doing this. Okay, now we need to make that closing at the top. It is separated from the main bottle itself, but we are going to carve that out of this bottle so that we don't have to create multiple shapes. We're going to select this edge, hit on R, and we're going to scale this in just like that. This is fine. Now, what we are going to do is to detach this face from the bottle, and when we detach the face from the bottle, we are going to use it to form that closing at the top of our bottle. So we're going to right click, go into the face mode, select the first face, hold and shift and double click to select the whole face. Now we're going to hold and shift, right click, and come to the part that says detach components, and we're going to click on that to detach the component. Hit on W and drag this up. You can now see they are no longer together. So I'm going to hit on Ctrl Z to make it align with that properly. Now we can click off, go into the edge mode, double click to select the loop round. Let's be sure we are selecting the faces we just detached. Okay, that is fine. Now we can extrude. But when we extrude, you can see that we have reverse faces. Don't worry, we are going to fix that. This size is okay for what I want. Maybe I'm just going to reduce it a bit. Yeah, that is fine. Now we're going to right click, go into the face mode, select this face, double click to select the whole loop, hit on Control and delete those faces. We don't need those faces anymore. We are going to leave the bottom parts aligned with the bottom. If you want to add a little bit of closing, you can go ahead and do that, but I'm not going to do it. Now, let's fix this. There is something you need to see before we fix. When we go into the object mode, you can see that we still have these faces with detached and the body of our bottle attached together. So what we need to do is to separate both of them. So while in the object mode, just going to right click, shift, right click, come down till we find separate and click on that. Now it is going to separate both of them and we are going to have two separate objects. Now when I click off, we can select this separately and we can select this separately. This face is reversed, so we need to reverse the face. So to do that, make sure you are in object mode, go over to mesh display and hit on reverse. But if you don't want to go over to these tabs here, you can hold down the space bar on your keyboard, mesh display from here, click and hold down the left click, and with this menu, just move your mouse over there. When you see the blue highlight, release the left click and also release the space bar. It is going to reverse that face for you. Now we need to close the face just a little. So we're going to right click, go into the edge mode. Sometimes it happens when you go into any component mode, it is going to select your other object. So make sure you put your mouse on top of that object. So edge mode, double click to select the edge, hit on R, and we're going to scale inward just like that. Yeah, this is fine. This is looking good. Now we're going to hit on W and just drag, hold and shift and drag this up. These faces, we are going to use these faces to create the final cover of our water bottle. But before we do that, we have rounded edges here. So we're going to double click on this edge, hit on Ctrl B to bevel, and we are going to reduce the fraction. I'm not going to add any segments, and I'm also not going to turn off the chamfer. Okay, that is fine. Now I can double click to select this edge. But before I double click to select this edge and bevel it, I will go into the face mode, select this first face, hold and shift and double click to select the other face. I am going to shift right click, come down and select duplicate faces. Now the faces is duplicated already, but it's just going to feel like it is not there. So what we are going to do first now is to go into the object mode, select this object, select this object. When we select the object, we're going to hit on Ctrl 1 to isolate. Now we only have this object. We can right click, go into the edge mode, double click, hit on Ctrl B to bevel, and this time we're going to turn off chamfer because we just want a flat surface there, not rounded. And I am going to reduce the fraction to tighten that place. Now we can hit on 3. When we hit on 3 and go into object mode, we can now see what we have here. This is really looking good. But I think, yeah, that is fine. It is really looking so good. So we can hit on 1 and hit on Ctrl 1. Now, where is the face we duplicated? We still can't see the face we duplicated. So select this object, hit on H to hide it. Now we can see the face we duplicated. We can right click, go into the edge mode, double click to select the loop around this edge, Control Shift H to bring back the object we hide, and hit on W to drag this up, just like that. Now I want you to take a look at something. When we select this, you can see that we can't see the pivot. Why? Because the pivot is at the bottom. It is still following this main bottle or the body of the bottle itself. If we also select this, the pivot is going to be here. Now, if you want to reset the pivot, just hit on D. When you hit on D, right click and hold down the right click and move your mouse down to reset pivot. It is going to move the pivot to the center of that particular object. Hit on D again to deactivate the pivot mode and select this one again. Go into the pivot mode, right click and hold down and reset pivot. Hit on D again. Now we can right click, go into the edge mode. Now this is the cover of our water bottle. So this is the main body. This is just like the what is holding the cover, the thread, because we are supposed to add thread here, but since we are not opening this water bottle, it is not needed to model the thread, so we're just going to leave it that way. Now we're going to select the top face, hit on R, make sure that it is higher than the thread. We've already done that. I'm going to hold down Shift. That is cloning because we are in the object mode. So I'm going to right click and go into the edge mode, double click, hold down Shift and extrude inward once. Now, when you are extruding, you need to pay attention to the faces, how large it is, how large the face is. It's going to determine how large the handle of your water bottle is going to be. We are going to be bringing out the handle of the water bottle from the top cover. Okay, I think this is okay for me. And I am going to, maybe let me just take this in just a little, that is fine. I am going to add another extrusion and one final extrusion here, just like that. Now I'm going to shift right click, merge collapsed edges, and I am going to merge edges to the center. And this is too big, so I am going to undo it, then add one. Let me go back into the edge mode and add one extrusion in the center, just like that. Now I can collapse this. All right, that is fine. And I know you will just go into the edge mode, double click, and bevel. And when you bevel, you're going to make it a rounded edge. No, we're not going to make that edge rounded. We are going to turn on chamfer. So we're going to hit on Control B to bevel and turn off the chamfer. Now I am going to reduce the fraction just like that. But if that is too much or too small, what you can do, you can increase the chamfer just like that, because we are going to carve out the handle from this face here. So you can increase the fraction, maybe higher. And once you increase the fraction, you can double click on this and control delete the edge. Now when you hit on 3, you are going to get an edge just like this, which is really okay. And we can go back, we can hit on 1 to go back into the normal mode, and right click, go into the object mode. Now you can see that this is just sitting on top of the thread. Now we need to make this big to be at the edge here. So while in the object mode and with this object selected, we are going to hit on Control E to extrude, and we are going to increase the thickness. Just when we get to that edge there, we are going to stop. All right, this is really looking so good. Now we can right click, go into object mode, and this is really looking good. Now let's bring back our grid and let's look where it is matching very well, which is this part here. Now this is where we are going to add our handle. So we come down to this place here and we go into the face mode. We select this face and also select this face. Now the handle is supposed to work well with this edge. Like it's going to just feel like one single face, just like that. Well, you can do that. I'm going to show you. You can just hit on W, hold down Shift, and extrude these faces outward. Yeah, that is looking good. When you hit on 3, this is what you are going to get now. It feels like a continuous faces. If that is what you want, you can do it. And I am also going to show you another option. And if that is also not what you want, let's try this. Now, when you select both faces, you can hit on Control E and you can offset inward. When you offset inward, you can hit on W and extrude those faces out. Now, when you hit on 3 to go into the smooth preview, you notice that we have some holding edges here that is also looking good. So depending on the one you want, you can go ahead and do it. It's all on you. So while I first of all model this, I make use of the offset, but I really want this part to be one continuous face. So I'm not going to offset it, but if you want to offset it, go ahead and offset it. So I'm going to hold down Shift and extrude this face just like that. This is looking good. and it is big. I really love that. I don't want this to be too long, so this is fine. I'm not going to extrude it. This is fine. Now, with both faces selected, we're going to control delete both faces. We're going to hit Control plus B, not Control plus B. Sorry about that. We'll go into the modeling toolkit and we are going to bridge both faces. Now, we'll bridge both faces, but this is looking weird as usual. So we're going to change the curve type to blend. And we are going to add divisions. We'll go for 4. Now you can see this is looking good, but not really looking good well. So we are going to play with the bridge offset. Now we're going to increase the offset. So we have 4 for the offset. And I love what I have here. I love this part going inside. Let me see if we go for 5. Okay. 4 is okay. And for the divisions, let's see. Let's increase the bridge offset. Okay, it still go inside. I don't want much division because I want that handle to feel like it is going inside. So I think division of 4 is going to work well, and the blend of 4 is also going to work well for me. Now I'm going to select, I will right click, go into the edge mode, select this edge loop round, select this edge loop round, hit on R and scale inward just like that. Now we can hit on 3 to go into normal mode, to go into the smooth preview. And now you can see what we have here. This is really looking good, but I am going to select, we'll go into the face mode, select this face, select these faces, and I am going to scale them inward just to make it bigger. I'm going to scale them in, and that is okay. Now I can right click, go into the edge mode, hit on 1 to go back into the normal mode, select this edge, and also I guess this one and this one, and I am just going to scale it in just a bit. And hit on 3. Okay, this looks good. I'm going to select these 4 bottom faces here, here, and here, and I'm just going to scale it inward just like that. Okay, this is good, but I'll go into the edge mode, double click on this edge, double click, and just scale this out a bit. That is fine. Now you can play around with this to give you what you want, but this is okay. But when you look at this part here, it is too rounded. Let's say I don't want to go back into the normal mode. Well, that is because we did not bevel those edges. So we go into the object mode, hit on Ctrl 1 to isolate this object alone. We can right click, go into the edge mode, select this edge, hold on shift and select this edge. Now we can hit on Ctrl 1 to bring back the other object we have, hit on Ctrl B to bevel, and we don't want this to really relax on top of this part here. So we're just going to reduce the fraction just a bit so that when we go into the smooth preview and also go into the smooth preview for this, we are going to have a little edge here, but I think that it's too small, so we can increase the fraction just a bit. Okay, this is fine. Now we can select the main body of our water bottle and we can hit on 3 to go into the smooth preview. Okay, now we can turn off the grid. Let's adjust the body of our water bottle. Now this is not really looking okay because of all these edges that are far away from edges here. Okay, what we are going to do is to add more divisions to this. We are going to do that by making use of the multi-cut tool. You can select the multi-cut tool from here, but I have set mine to M as the shortcut. So when I hover on it, you are going to see that the shortcut is M. By default, the shortcut is not M. So you can just set it yourself. Now I'm going to hold down Control, middle mouse click to add a division in the middle to add an edge. Come down here, add an edge here, add an edge, also add edge and add edge here. I can also add one in between all of them. And now when we go into the object mode and click off, you can now see how straight our water bottle it's looking, except for all those rounded edges we have, and you can see how tight they are looking. Now when you color this, when you apply texture to this, you are going to get something nice. It is going to be like the reference. That is, if you want it to be like the reference. So I can just select this, hit on M, hold on Control, and add a loop there. Hit on W, select this. Let's go back into object mode. Select this, M, Control, and just add one right there. Now I can hit on W to go out, right click and go into object mode. And that is it. Now we can turn on the wireframe so you can see what we have here. So this is your water bottle. If you want to do any modification, go ahead and do the modification. And now we'll go to File, Project Window, and New. The project name, we're going to name this to water bottle. And hit on accept. Now we can go to File, Save Scene, and we're going to name it to water bottle. Inside the water bottle folder, hit on Save, and now we'll go to File, Increment, and Save. We're going to highlight every object, right click, shift right click, and go to Smooth. And I think division 1 is really okay. We can use a subdivision of 1 for this, which is really looking good. Now you can save this on the... Did we increment and save? No, we did not increment and save. It did not increment and save. So we are going to undo the division we just add, hit on save. Because we did not add any changes previously, that is why it did not increment and save. So now we can apply the smooth, which is a subdivision 1. Now we can go to File and increment and save. Now we have a subdivided model and the regular model. So this is it. Now I want to show you something. I did not show you this in the mug, but I'm going to show you here. You can see this weird shape we have here. As we keep going, we are going to learn how to fix this by quad filling the holes. And when you look at the bottom too, you can see we have that same thing there. But it is okay. We are going to fix that as we keep going. So that is it. Go ahead, model your water bottle for day 2, and let's get ready for day 3. Today we are going to be modeling a chair. This chair is rounded chair, and I know you choose to start with a torus, which is very good. You can just shift right click and select a torus, and we can use this for the base of the chair, which is really good. It's so nice, but I will be making use of torus to I will be making use of torus for the base of my chair. And the reason is that I am going to duplicate the face of the object I'm going to be using to make the seat of my chair, and I just want to do something different here. So we're going to be starting with a cylinder. We're going to manipulate that cylinder to give us a rounded shape. So I'm going to shift right click and create a cylinder. I'm going to scale this up just a bit. Now, before I do anything, I'll go into the options and just reduce the subdivision axis to something around 14, just like what we did for the curve, but this is a little bit higher than the curve. The curve is 10 divisions, and for the curve, for the chair, we're going to be making use of 14. Now I'm just going to right click, go into the face mode, and I'm just going to select everything, hold down Control and deselect the middle faces and delete those faces. I will go into the edge mode, double click to select the top loop round, hit on R and hold down Shift and scale inward. Now we don't need these faces anymore. So I'm just going to right-click, go into face mode and select all the faces. Now, if you are selecting the faces, and you find out that it's not going round, just make sure that camera bridge selection is turned off. If camera bridge selection is turned on, when I select, it is going to select the faces facing the camera. When I orbit around, you can see that the back faces are not selected. But if the camera bridge selection is turned off, I have never used an auto before, by the way, and go ahead and try that. If the camera bridge selection is turned off, when you select, it is going to select both the back faces and the front faces. Now we're just going to delete those faces. We don't need those faces anymore. Now I'm going to scale this up. I'm just going to hit on D, right click and reset the pivot, take it back to the middle. I'm going to scale this up very well. I think something like this, it's okay. And we go into the edge mode, double click and select this loop and just scale it out a bit so that it is going to be smaller. Yeah, this size it's fine. If I need to do anything, I'm going to increase it. Now I'm going to right click, go into the face mode, select the loop, hit on W, hold down Shift and extrude on the Y axis. Now something happened here, but I'm going to show you that later. Okay, now this is really okay. What we are going to do next is to bevel all these edges so that we have a rounded torus. We can just use this to form a torus. But before we do that, we need to duplicate these faces that are selected. That is what we are going to use to create the seat of our chair. So we're going to shift right click and hit duplicate faces. So for now, we're going to select the main ring, go into the object mode. Let's bring this down. Okay. Now we selected, we're going here on Control 1 to isolate so that we have only this ring. Now we can just hit on D again and reset the pivot, hit on D and go out. Now we go into the edge mode, select this edge, this bottom edge, and this bottom edge, and we are going to bevel. I'm going to hit on Control B to bevel. Now you notice when we bevel, it is not working. So you're going to hit on Control Z to undo that bevel. It simply means one of all these edges is having issue or our normals are incorrect. So what we need to do is to find out what is going on. So we're going to select the top edge, this first edge. We're going to hit on Control B. That edge can bevel. We're going to undo that. Select this. Hit on Control B. That edge can also bevel. We're going to undo that. Select this edge. Hit on Control B. And now you can see this edge cannot bevel. Let's also repeat that for this. And you can also see the edge cannot bevel. So what is causing the problem? Let's orbit around to the bottom. You can see that these faces are black. That is the issue we are facing. So what you have to do is to just right click, go into the face mode, select this loop round, hold down spacebar, go to mesh display and reverse. If you don't want to make use of the marking menu, go to mesh display from the top here and hit on reverse, and you are going to get the normal face here. Now you can go into the edge mode, select all the whole loop round and hit on Control V. And sometimes this is not always the problem. It's going to feel like the problem is the reverse faces, but most of the times you find out that you have double edges at that particular place. So just check the issue you are having. If you are having double edges, make sure you verify that by going into the wireframe and shifting every edges individually. And if you have reverse face, just go ahead and reverse the face. Okay, now in the bevel, I can increase segment while increasing the fraction. I'll hit on 3 to go into the subdi mode or the smooth preview, and now you can see that we have a nice ring. Not just a nice ring, it is curving very well and accurate, almost looking like a torus, which is really good. But I think this is a little bit smaller, so I will go into the edge mode and scale this up just like this, and maybe, yeah, that is okay. Now I can go into the face mode. You don't want to go into the normal mode. Let me see what I can do. I can select this loop and just scale it inward a bit. And let me hit on 3 to go into subdue mode. Let me let me try to scale this inward again. Okay, this is looking a little bit good. Now I'm going to select this loop. Keep in mind you don't have to do this, but I'm just doing it. So I'm going to select this bottom loop and this top loop. I will just scale it in just a little so that I can get enough space to put the legs. Okay, this is okay for me. This is okay. I love this. Now we're going to hit on Control 1 to bring back that top face. We're going to select it, hit on D, right click and reset the pivots. Hit on D, right click and reset the pivots. Hit on W and bring it up just a bit. Now I'm going to hit on 3, and now it is bigger than the main than the base of our chair. We're going to hit on R, and we're just going to scale this inward just like that, and make sure that it is relaxing on the base completely. Okay, now we're going to right click, go into the edge mode. You don't want to go out of the smooth preview. Double click to select this loop round. We don't need the main face. We only need the edges. Now I'm going to hold down shift and extrude this out just like this. I think this is okay. I will go into the face mode, select this loop round, hit on Control D, hit on Control plus delete to delete it. Right click, go into the object mode, hold down spacebar, merge display, and reverse. Awesome. Okay, now we can hit on 3, smooth preview, and yeah, this is looking good. We can scale this up a bit, yeah, just like that, and bring it down so that it sits on the base completely. Okay, now we're going to hit on 1 to go back into the normal mode. We're going to right click, go into the edge mode, double click on this edge, and we have something like, okay, we have different chairs in reference. You can pick any one. That is going to be part of your assignment. Make the design of any chair you want. Pick it from the reference. But I'm just going to do the one that's a little bit simplified here. Okay, now I'm going to, I won't even extrude. I won't even extrude twice. I'm just going to extrude once and make use of bevel to achieve what I want to achieve. Okay, now we can just take this inward once and repeat that again. Just going to do it this way. Now remember, in the previous lesson, we always merge the vertex to the center or merge point to the center. We're not going to do that here. Here we are going to be quad filling the hole so that we're going to fix that red ring we usually get in the middle of our cylinder or whenever we merge the edges to the center. So instead of right clicking, go to mesh slash collapse edges and merge edges to center, what we are going to use is fill hole. So we're going to fill the hole. Now when we fill the hole, this is even going to be weird than what we have before if we merge all the whole edges to the center. What we are going to do first is that we'll come back to this. Then we'll come to this edge. We'll click on this edge, hit on Control V to bevel. I'm not going to add any segments, but I'm going to reduce the fraction just to get this kind of edge there. So I'm going to hit on 3, and that is taking away that edge that I want. I'm just going to bevel and leave it this way. Now what I'm going to do is to select this edge and bevel those edges. But this time I am going to turn off the chamfer so that I get a nice flat edge there, and the fraction should remain just the way I reduce it just a little. You can leave it at 0.5, which is fine. Now we can just hit on 3 to go into the subdue mode. When we click off, now you can see that we have this nice curve on our chair, on the seat of our chair. Now let's go back to the middle. To fix this, you want to quad fill the hole. Now to quad fill the hole, you need to do some calculation. As we keep progressing in this course, you are going to understand more about topology and calculation of all these edges, because it's something that's really going to be complicated, and if you don't understand it, modeling is also going to be complicated for you, especially if you are modeling in subdue mode. But if you are just modeling the normal way, you don't need to worry about all this. Now to fill this hole, you can go over to your modeling toolkit and select the multi-cut tool. Or if you map a shortcut key, just like me, M to select the multi-cut tool. Now you want to connect all these edges together. Okay, now I am going to show you something. We're going to connect every edges together. Okay, now normally this is how you are supposed to fill the hole. Now we just fill the hole, but we did not quite fill the hole. Why we did not quite fill the hole, or what does it mean to quite fill hole? When you quite fill hole, each of the faces needs to have four vertex. If you look at most of all these faces, they have four vertex. We have one, two, three, four. One, two, three, four. But here we just have one, two, three, which simply means that we did not quite fill the hole. And when we go into the smooth preview, this is looking so good too. You can go ahead and leave it if you want to make use of triangles in your model. This is also looking good. But if you want to quite fill the hole, this is what you are going to do. Going to hit on W to deselect. Now you are going to delete these edges. You don't need to fill, you don't need to connect all these edges. You just want to leave one edge empty. So I'm going to undo this and show you all over again. So we select the multi-cut tool, we select here and here, we connect it, we select here and here, connect it, we select here and here, we connect it. Now we are going to skip one on the four places. So instead of connecting this one to this one, we skip this one and come to this, connect this one to this one, we will enter, connect this one to this one, hit on enter, and we are going to skip all this. If you have more than 14 subdivision on your cylinder or any faces you're trying to quite fill the hole, you are going to do it the same way, but keep in mind you just have to skip one at the edge depending on how you choose to connect it. You can say you want to connect two up and three bottom. Just make sure you skip one. And now when we hit on three, you can see what is happening. And not just that, if you count the vertex, you can see that it is four. One, two, three, four. One, two, three, four. Now you have successfully quad fill a hole in Maya or in any 3D modeling program you are using. That is done. Now let's face the bottom of the seat. Now you need to understand that we can't leave it open just like that. And aside from leaving it open, we have something like a bevel at the bottom of this seat. This is being placed on top of this iron. This is just like an iron or a metal. It is being placed on top. So of course the bottom is also going to be rounded, but not as much as the top. So we're going to hit on one to go into the normal mode. Go and hit on Control 1 to isolate. We'll go into the edge mode, double click to select the loop. And I'm just going to extrude inward and repeat once again. I don't have to make sure that it is accurate with the top. And I'm going to right click and fill the hole. We're going to repeat the same process of quad filling the hole. Now there is a script you can use to do this. It is more accurate than making use of your hand. But that script is about $2 on ArtStation. You can check that. I have forgotten the name of the person that write that. I wrote the script But you can check ArtStation, you can get it, and it is going to help you easily quad few hole. You don't have to go through that. I currently don't have it installed. I was using it on my PC, but when I reload my PC, I have not even installed any Maya plugins for now. Okay, we're done with that. We can just hit on Control B to bevel, and we're just going to reduce the fraction. Hit on 3 to go into subdue mode or smooth preview. Maybe I'm going to add one segment there. Right click, go into object mode and go out. Awesome. This is really looking good. Now we can hit on Control 1 to bring this back. Amazing. This is looking so good. Now we need to make the handle. And because of what we did here, this part is looking flat. Maybe I can just go into the face mode and select this face and just bring it down a little to make it rounded. I'm not going to worry about the top. This is just the bottom. I'm not even supposed to worry about this, but I'm just going to do it that way. That is a mistake. Now we need to work on the handle, not the handle, the rest of the chair where you are going to relax your back of the chair. So we're going to bring back our grid. In case you don't remember why I make use of the 14 subdivision, it is because of what we did in the mug when we are modeling the mug, just so we could get an accurate and properly aligned handle for the mug. That is why we make use of that. Now I'm going to drag this and bring it to the middle or the center of my grid. We can go into the channel box from here and let's see the transformation has been freeze. So let's see this. We don't have any, the transformation has been deleted, so we can work with that. So we're going to select both objects, go hit the space bar and go into the front view, or you can make use of the side view depending. Now we're going to, there is a way you can snap to the grid. Let's do that. Let me also show you that. Now we're going to select just the torus. We're going to start calling that torus or the base of the chair. We're going to hit on D to go into the pivot mode. What we want to do is to move this pivot to one of the vertex of this base of the chair. You can call it point, you can call it vertex, but when you are doing something like this, you are going to call it point. Now to do that, we're going to hold down V, and when we hold down V, you notice that at the center of our grid, it is of the pivot, it's square. When we hold down V, you can see it is now ellipse. Now with that selected, I can just drag this. You can now see so with my V key held down, when I middle mouse click and drag this, it is snapping to the top, but I want to snap this to the bottom. I'm going to drag it from the middle, and now you can see that it has snapped to this bottom part. I'm also going to drag it to this part here. Now you can see it has snapped. Now we can hit on D to go out of the pivot mode. Now we need to snap this to the grid. So to snap this to the grid, this time you're going to hold down X, not V. When you look here, you can see this is snap to projected center. This is snap to point, which is what we used before. And this is snap to grid, and this is snap to curve. We're not working with curve, so you can just enable this and you can snap. but the shortcut is by holding down X key on your keyboard. You can see that on the screen. Now just click, drag, and bring it down. If you want to snap it to the top of the grid, you can just snap it that way. You can now see it is at the top of the grid. Now you can select that, hit on D, and then reset the pivot. Now that is how you can easily snap back to the grid. And if you want to snap this to this point here, all you just have to do is to select the seat itself and repeat the same process by going into the pivot mode, hold down D. Now I can turn off the grid for a moment. Hold down D, hold down V, middle mouse click, and snap this to any point. So I have snapped this to this point, but I can say maybe I want to bring it down to this part here. So I'm going to hold down V and also snap it to this point, hit on D, and we are out of that. Now I am going to hold V, and this is also going to snap to point. Now it is when I drag this down, it is going to snap to one of the points. You can see that we have a point there. It is going to snap to that point, making this seat align on top of the ring properly. Okay, now we are done with this. You can just hit on D and reset the pivot. Make sure, go out of the pivot mode and make sure that this pivot is also reset. Now that is looking fine. We can bring back the grid for the moment. So where do we want to put the rest of our chair? You can make use of this line here now, just this edge. To calculate it, you can say here and here, or you can also say from here, that is in the middle, you want to do it from here and from there, depending on what works best for you. But I want to put this at the back, so I'm going to use, this is the front. Okay, yeah, so this is the back. I'm going to put this at the back. Now we're going to use this one. So we have 1, 2 to the center, and we also have 1, 2 to the center. So which simply means that the hand or the rest will be around here, and we can just mirror it to the other side. Now to do this rest, we just go into shift right click, create a cylinder. It is indeed a cylinder. First we're going to hit on E, hold on J, and rotate this along the X axis, and hit on R. We're going to scale it down. W, bring this close to the place where we want to put it in. So we want to put it here. No, that part wouldn't be nice. So we can go for here. Okay, now we can take it up. We're going to try as much as we can. This don't need to be big. So we can just play with it this way. Hit on W and drag it out. Let's just put it in and see what we have. Yeah, this is looking so good. Now we can drag this out, and then we can just hit on R and scale it, W, and move it away just a bit. Now we go into the face mode, select everything, hold down Control and deselect the middle faces, and now we're going to delete this face. When we need to add a curve, another handle going around the top, that will go around and go to the top. And I know you can just go into the edge mode, double click, extrude, and you try to rotate, extrude, and keep doing it till you get that. But that is not going to work here. It is going to work, but it's going to also take lots of time. So what we are going to do is to go into the object mode, make a clone of the cylinder we have, hit on E, hold on J, and rotate this 90-degree along the Y axis, along the Z axis, not the Y axis. And we can bring this here. Okay, depending on how far you want the folding to be, or the curve to be, or the connection to be, that is how you are going to push this. So I want it to be something like this. All right, this is looking good now. I am going to make another duplicate. I won't duplicate that, so I'm going to make a clone of this, and I'm going to rotate this along the X axis, holding down J and rotate it along the X axis, hit on W and just take it up just like this, put it close to this, and maybe take it up again, maybe to the center of this. So I'm just going to take it up just about there. All right, now what we are going to do, we select both objects, shift right click, and we are going to combine both objects. Once we combine both objects, we're going to right click, go into the edge mode, select this loop, and also select this loop. This time around you want to bridge, you can go over to your modeling toolkit and make use of the bridge from here. But what I have done is set my own shortcut for the bridge. To bevel in Maya, you make use of Control B. So I set my bridge to Alt B, and when I do that, I am going to bridge. Now you want to come down to the bridge here, leave every settings the way it is, come down to the curve type and set it to blend, go over to the division and increase the division. So you can increase the division to what you want. If this is not okay, let's go into the smooth preview. You can see what we have there. If that is not okay, you can add more division and also add more division to give you what you want. But I think something like this is okay, but not as okay as I want, just because it is not really looking okay. So I'm going to add more division, and maybe should I play with this? Let me play. I want it to be, let me increase this just like maybe 1 and increase the subdivision. Okay, this is okay, this is fine, just like this. So I think I am okay, a bit okay with this. That is fine. I can go out. Keep in mind, you don't need to make use of these divisions. I make use of 7. I can go down to 6, and I can 5, and I can go down to 4. But I want something more curvier here. Okay, this is okay. This is fine. 6 is okay. Now I'm going to select that and delete it. But I still need to do some modifications to this. Now we go into the edge mode. Select this edge, hit on W, and bring this down just a bit, and also select this and bring it down just a bit. I just want a little curve there, and also bring this down, and I think that is fine by me. Now what I'm going to do is to go into the face mode, select these faces and delete those faces. Now I can hold and shift and extrude. Remember, we are in the smooth preview. Now we go out of the smooth preview. Okay, this is looking good, but I think I'm going to also go into the edge mode, select this edge and this edge, and bring it down a little. This edge again and just bring it down a little. Maybe I can bring this one down just a little and do another extrusion and just bend it a little. Okay, this is fine. Now we can go into the object mode. We can drag this inward. You can just push it inward to make it go in. And yeah, this is fine. We can hit on 3 to go into smooth preview. And that is looking so good. It is looking good. You can go ahead and do modification on all these edges here, but I'm okay with that. So I'm going to leave it that way. And maybe let me take this out and just go into the edge mode. Double click to select this loop and just do one extrusion into the seat, into the ring. Okay, that is fine. Now we'll go into the edge mode, select this loop round, hit on 1, just drag this up and also drag this up depending on how long you want it to be. So I think you don't want it to be too long just because you don't want the head of whoever is sitting on this chair to be relaxing on the chair. Okay, this is fine. We can add subdivision to this. Now we can hit on 3 to go into the subdivide mode. Right click, go into the object mode, and yeah, this is fine. Now we can select this object, shift right click, and mirror the object. Of course, it is okay. We want to mirror it along the x-axis, which is correct here. Now this is looking good. Okay, keep in mind both objects are now the same. Now one, you need to separate them for you to be able to treat or work on each of them separately. Okay, now we can go out. We need to create the relax of the chair. Now you can do something advanced, but I'm just going to do something simple here. Deselect the object, shift right click and create a cube. I just want my own backrest to be like a cube. Hit on the view, take this up. Now I will go into the front view from here. I'm going to use this view to align it properly and just put it right there. Hit on R, scale these out just like that. That is fine. And then I will go into the top view from here, drag this backward and make sure it is covering both pipe. And now I can go into the perspective view. Now for now we can turn off the grid. Select this, hit on R, going to scale along the Y axis, looking good. Maybe just this is fine, just a little more is okay. Now I'm going to select the multi-chord too, hold down Control and add the loop in the middle, hit on W, select that loop round and take the loop outside just like that. And I'm going to bevel it, add 1 or 2 segments in the middle works well. That is fine. Now I can hit on W, go into the object mode and drag this forward to cover up those areas and try to align it to the center. Okay, this is fine. And maybe I can drag this up just a little. Yeah, that is fine. Now I will go into the edge mode, select all these loop round, just like that, and hit on Control B to bevel. I'm going to turn off the chamfer And I think maybe this is fine. Let me hit on 3. Yeah, this is accurate. I love this the way it is. I'm going to hit on M to go into the multi-cut 2. Add the loop in the middle. Add loop here, add loop here, add loop here, add, and also add loop there. And now I can add one loop in the middle. Then W, go into the object mode and click off. Now we have something so good here. Now we can select this, hit on 3 to go into smooth preview, 3 to go into smooth preview. This part here, when you go into Substance Painter, that is if you want to texture in Substance Painter, you can make it look like it is weird to this part of the chair, so you can fix that during texturing. Now let's select this, hit on M and add moderation to this. Okay, I think this works. Now we can go into the object mode, click off and turn on the wireframe. Yeah, this is good. I'm going to leave all this way. Now we just need to add the legs of the chair. This is not beveled the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be rounded. So what we are going to do is go into the edge mode, select this loop, delete that loop, and also select another loop and delete that loop. Then we select this loop again and we delete the loop. And I think this loop, we're going to delete that loop and also this loop. Now, depending on how round you want it to be, that is what you are going to do. Now you can see it is more round than what we have before. So we're just going to work with these loops we have here just because we know exactly what we want. Now it is time for us to add the legs of the chair. We can easily make use of this, but I'm just going to create another. Now we'll go into the object mode, shift right click and create a cylinder. Now we're going to scale this down and scale along the y-axis. Okay, this is a bit too big, so let's scale it down a bit. Hit on W, move this over to this part here and bring this down. Maybe this is fine, but we can just scale it up a bit. W and bring this down. Okay, this is a bit better, or maybe we can't scale that. We've already worked with this, so we're just going to scale this up just a bit. Okay, this is fine, and now let's scale it again. So I think this size, this length is okay. Now we'll go into other views like the side view first. We're going to we're going to move this up, hit on W and bring this down just like that. Hit on R, hit on E, and we're going to rotate this just like this. We're going to rotate it not that much, just like that, and we rotate this to the front. And now we're going to rotate this. This is going everywhere, so let's really see. So we're going to rotate this along the Z axis, not that much, just a bit like this, so that we can see it from here. Now we're going to hit on W and move this to the front. Let's see. Okay, now we can take it up just a little. All right, it's inward completely. But first, I'm going to hit on Control 1, right click, go into the face mode, select this face. Now I can bring that back. What we have to do next is just to align this properly. Okay, this is sitting on the side and it is close to the front. Let's go into, okay, so yeah, that is fine. Now we'll go to the bottom part of the chair, hit on M, and we are going to add a loop here, just like that. Hit on W, right click, go into the edge mode, select this loop round and scale it down. I think just like this. And also go into the face mode and delete the face. I'm just going to leave that way. Most times you can just delete the face if it's not going to be seen, just like how I deleted the one at the top. Yeah, I'm going to delete it. Okay, that is fine. Now if I hit on 3, this is going to be looking good, but not as good as it can be. So for this, I will go into the edge mode, double click, and I think I'm going to bevel that, add segment of 1, and bring the fraction down just a bit. Hit on 3, and I think that is fine. Maybe I can bring, yeah, that is okay. So what I'm going to do now is to go into the multi-chord tool, add loop there, add loop here, add loop here, add loop here, add loop, add loop, and add loop. Maybe, okay, that is fine. I can add one loop here. W, object mode, and go out. Now this is looking good. Okay, what we are going to do now is to select this, shift right click, and mirror this. Of course, we want to mirror it to the x-axis for now. That is looking good. Yeah, it is looking good. Then we'll click off, select again, hit on G to repeat the mirror, and this time we're going to mirror to the Z axis, and this is also looking good. All right, this is fine. Now we're going to select that, hit on W, and clone it and bring it downwards, just like that. But before we do anything, we're going to right click, go into the face mode, select this loop round, hit on R, and we're going to scale it inward, just like that. Keep in mind that you can also make use of Taurus to do this, but I just want to do it this way. Now we're going to, let me take this up a bit, hit on R, we're just going to scale this up so that it connects with each of all these edges here. Now we can also scale this down just like that and scale it inward a little. You can also scale it in and maybe just take it up a little bit. Now you can also weld this when you go into Substance Painter. You're going to make the connection look like it is welded. So I think this is fine. Now this is our humble chair. Okay, this is it. This is how you can make a chair. Just go ahead and save. You already know how to create a project folder and how you can save. So this is our wireframe when we are done. Now you can add more divisions if you want to. You know how we do it. We can now, since we have saved, we can select everything, shift right click and smooth with just a division of one, click off. This is what we have. Now you can go to file, increment and save. We have chair 01 and everything it's going to be looking accurate. That is it for this lesson, my friend. Go ahead and model your chair, but I think this is a little bit outside more than the way it's supposed. Okay, now if it shows, don't worry, that's at the bottom. You can also go ahead and cut some face from there. So that is it, my friend. I'm going to see you the next day. To start moving the headset, I'm going to add a cylinder. And before I do anything, I'm going to rotate this, that is clone. I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees along this Z axis. And I'm going to hit on T. I want to have one face at the top just like that. So I'm going to reduce. Okay, this works. Now I will go into the face mode. Now the reason for this top face is so that I can put in the handle that is going to hold the holdings of the headset, the part of the headset that will go around the head. So I'm going to select everything, hold down Control, select the middle and delete. Hit on Alt G to hide the grid for now. Hit on R and upside down. And scale this down just like this. Okay, let me scale it down a bit. Now that is fine. I'll go into the edge mode, select the edge and extrude inward. And extrude inward one more. So I'm going to extrude one more time. And shift right click, merge slash collapse vertices, edges to the center. Okay, now I will go into the edge mode, select this loop round, hit on Ctrl B to bevel. I don't want it to go wide, so I'm going to reduce the fraction just a bit, but I won't do anything else. I'm going to leave the chamfer that way. I'm going to select this edge, because if I go into smooth preview, you can see that the edge is rounded and I'm trying to avoid something like that. So I'm going to hit on 1, hit on Ctrl B to bevel, turn off the chamfer and tight the edges just like this. And now I can right click, go into the object mode, hit on 3, and I have something like this. Awesome. Now to make the other part of the headset, I'm going to select the multi-cut tool, hold down Control and just add a loop here. Now I will go into the face mode and select that those faces round, shift right click and hit on duplicate faces. Okay, now I'm going to select this, hit on 3 to go into the subdue mode. I will go into object mode, select that face. Also, hit on 3, and this time I'm going to hit on R and scale it in just like that. And then I'm going to push it forward, making sure that it is close to the top, and I'm going to scale it up just a little. Now I can select both. You don't want to go into the normal mode. I can go into the edge mode, select this loop round, and now I'm going to scale this up just like this, making sure it's a little bit flat. Yeah, it's a little bit flat, just like this. Now I'm going to hold on the hit on the wheel, push this out, just like this. Select the edge, hit on R, and I'm going to scale it in, and also scale in again. But this time, I'm going to push this up. Maybe I can scale in just like that. Okay, before I scale in again, I'm going to push this up. This is going to form that bump inside the headset where the speaker is being located. And maybe one more. And just one more. This is so that I can collapse all edges to the center. Okay, this is good. Now when I hit on 3, you can see what I have. It's okay, but not really looking good. Okay, so now I'm going to hit on 1 to go into the normal mode. Now I'm going to bevel these edges, but before I bevel the edges, what I'm going to do is to go into the face mode, select this face is round, right click, and I'm going to duplicate faces, go into the object mode, and I'm going to hit on H to hide this for a moment, and go into the edge mode, select this loop, and also select this loop, hit on Ctrl B to bevel. I'm going to turn off the chamfer and reduce the fraction just a bit, hit on 3, reduce the fraction again, something like this works. Now I'm going to hit on M, hold on Control, and add a loop there. Hit on W, go into the object mode, and now I can go out. Okay, this is looking really good. Now I'm going to hit on Control Shift H to bring back the other face that I hide. I'm going to go into the edge mode, select these edges round, hit on R, and I'm going to scale these edges outward. Now you can see what we have. It's not really looking good. Now I'm going to select this, hit on 1. But before I do that, let me still go into the smooth preview till I'm done with what I am doing right here. Now I'm going to go into the face mode, select this faces round, and Control Delete. Go into the object mode, hold down Shift, mesh display reverse, so that we have these faces outside. Now I can select this. I can select this and hit on 1 to go back into normal mode. Now you can see that they are all connecting. I will select this. Right click, go into the edge mode, select this loop round. This is what is going to form the ear of the foam that is on the headset. So I think I may want to scale this out just a bit. I'm going here on the view, push this forward just like this, and maybe push it forward a little bit more. Yeah, that is fine. Select this edge, hit on R, and I'm going to scale it in. Now maybe I did a little bit of a mistake, but I think we can fix that. Or maybe we can do something else. Okay, so this is a bit accurate. Let me go into, this is the back. I actually want the front, and the front, let me see. This is showing me from the back. Let me, okay, that is the left. So let me see. That is showing me from the front. So let's go to the right. Let's go to the back. Let's go to the left, and let's focus. Where is that? Is this not the left? This is giving me the focus on, this is supposed to give me the left review completely. I don't want that. But anyway, we can just try to see what we can do. Now we can bring this inward just a bit, hit on the view, and drag this downward. Now this is supposed to be connecting with this face, and it is supposed to be rounded inside. So this is where we have a little bit of a technical problem and how we can achieve that, because this is wrapping around from the reference, this is wrapping around from the back till it gets inward. So we can just say, okay, so what we can do here, is to select, okay, the edges are inside. Now we can say, we can just put it on top here, just like that. Hit on R, and we're just going to scale it inward, just like that. Okay, now what we are going to do is to go into the edge mode. We're going to select this loop, hit on Ctrl B to bevel, add a segment of 2, and we're going to reduce the fraction to 3.99. Now we're going to select this edge and this edge, hit on Ctrl B to bevel the edge, and we're going to add, I don't think we're going to add segments to this. Maybe we can increase the fraction just a bit. Let's hit on 3. Okay, so we can add one segment. No, we don't need segments. Now we can increase fraction just like this. Okay, this is looking good. Now we're going to hit on 1 and we're going to select this bottom, hit on Ctrl B to bevel. Remember what we did? We added one segment here and fraction is 0.399. We don't enter. Now we'll go into this should look good. Object mode and click off. Yeah, this is looking good. Now we can select this, hit on 3, and everything is looking so good. So nice. Okay, now we're done with just one ear because that is how it is. Now what we are going to do next is to add the part of the, but before we do that, so let's select this, hit on M, add a division there. Okay, I won't go with too much divisions here, so I'm just going to leave this like this so that it looks simple. Maybe later I'm going to subdivide it. Okay, if you go into the object mode, now we're going to create a cylinder, and this time we're going to turn on wireframe mode. Bring this out, hold on R, scale it along the y-axis, and scale it down on all axes. Scale it a bit along the y-axis, and we make use of 0.13 as the division for this. So let's see. We don't see it can't come up again. Let's go to attribute editor and let's go to poly shape 1 and let's go to mesh control, smooth mesh. I really can't remember where you can find that. Yeah, mesh component display, the selection attribute. Let's look for poly cylinder. Poly cylinder 1. Okay, so we have the subdivision axis to 13. So we're going to select this, hit on T, and just into 13. So everything stays the same. Now we can select this, go into the face mode, select all faces, Control and deselect, and delete those faces. Now we'll go into the object mode, hit on W, and we're going to move this up, move it closer to this place. Yeah, this is still big. We're just going to bring it up. So we're going to on R. We're going to scale these down. Yeah, that works. Hit on W, and I think I will go into the edge mode, select this loop, and delete the loop. Select all this, hit on 1 to go into the normal mode, and maybe shift it forward a little bit. Now I will go into the edge mode, select this loop, and push it out just a little. Now I can select all of this and bring them back. Okay. Okay, select it on 3. That should close the hole, a gap right there. So we actually have a gap there. So we're going to select both. And there is not much gap, so we can just connect it that way. Alright, everything looks okay now. We can now select this and push it forward to take it away from the edge completely. And I think I'm going to hit on, I'll go into the edge mode, select this loop and slide it to tighten that loop. Go into the object mode, take out that. Okay, yeah, that is tightening off now. Now we can select this. Yeah, so we need to make that curve a little bit. So go in and hit on M, select the multi-curve 2. Add a loop in the middle, hit on W, select that edge, take it backward a little bit, hit on Ctrl B to bevel, add 1 in the middle, so we need to make this smooth completely. Not that bent, we shouldn't make it that bent. So let's undo, hit on W, push it in forward just like that. Ctrl B to bevel, add segment. Yeah, this should work. Now we can hit on 3, I click and go into the object mode. Alright, this is looking so good. Okay, now we can work with this. Let's go out of. Now, what we are going to do here, we'll go into our outliner from here, and we have everything inside this. So what we are going to do now, since we won't be doing any modifications again, we'll go into file, create a project, go to project window, new project, and we're going to name this to headset underscore 01. I have one headset before, so I'm going to accept, go to file, save sync, and name this headset. Okay, now I can select everything, go to edit, delete all by type. Now, if I have not explained the difference between delete all by type and delete by type, let's go into the channel box. Now, all these objects have history. If I select this one, you can see the history. If I go to edit, delete by type, history, it is going to delete the history of this particular object. When I select this object, you can see the history. Now, pay attention. When I select this object, you can see that we have histories here. When I also select this object, you can see that we have histories here. When I select this, we also have history. Now remember, I have deleted the history from this one. Now if I select this object alone and I go to edit, delete all by type and history, when I select this object again, you realize that we don't have any history here. When I select this, we no longer have history. Also this one. So delete by type, delete the history on that particular object. Delete by type, delete history on that particular object, and delete all by type, delete the history on all the object without selecting everything. So now that we have deleted the history, we can go into file and increment and save. Now we can go back into our outliner. We have everything inside of one group. So we have all this. Now what I'm going to do, all this we have is because of the duplicated faces, this poly surface and so on. It's because of the duplicated faces. So I'm just going to select all of them by holding down Shift. middle click and drag and drop it inside the cylinder. I'm not going to drop it when I see that line on the poly surface. I'm going to move it when I see it on top of the poly surface, and then everything is going to be in one group. This group is no longer needed. I can delete that group. I am also going to drag this and drop it. I'm going to drop it inside the group so that everything stays in the group. So I'm going to name this to here and hit on enter. So now everything is there. So when I hit on W, you can see where it is. So now another way you can do this is by going over to the poly modeling chef, center the pivot that is doing what we don't want. So I'm going to select everything. This is center pivot. Okay, now we're having so much issue. I've never experienced this before, but let's work on that. So I'm going to select everything. Let's delete history, freeze, transformation, and let's center the pivot. Now you can see everything works because we have not freeze the transformation while everything is in the group. Now, what I named here has been unnamed, so I'm going to name that here. Okay, this is fine. Now, the reason for this, I think this still needs to be longer than this setting. So we're going to hit on R and we're going to scale it up. Okay, so I think this is fine. Okay. Maybe we can just scale it up a bit. W and push it forward. Okay. Now we can select all again, freeze transformation, delete history, freeze transformation, and center the pivot. Alright, everything looks a bit okay now. Now what we are going to do is to mirror this over to the other side, and we don't have this at the center part of our grid, so I'm going to hide the chef and bring the grid back. So we'll go to the front, which is the front. Now I'm going to shift right click, deselect everything, shift right click, and create a cube. This cube is in the middle of our grid. Now we hit on spacebar and go to the front view. Select this, select that object and move it. So we're really having issue with this. Okay, now what I am going to do is take everything out of that group. Now I can delete that group, no longer need it. I'm going to select everything again and hit on Ctrl G to group them. Now I can name it to here. And now we shouldn't experience that issue again, and we are still experiencing the issue. So maybe we can repeat the same process. Delete history, freeze transformation, and center the pivot. Let's move this. So what is really going on here? This isn't supposed to be happening. What we are going to do, let's Control D to duplicate this for now. Now, issues like this happen a lot. I've not actually experienced something like this, but I want to do something different. So we're going to select the main one, hit on H to hide it, select this one. With everything selected, we're going to right click and we're going to shift right click and combine. So everything is going to be one. Now, we can move this without affecting us. Don't worry, you can separate this later. Now we can bring this here. So I'm going to, so let me see, we have 1, 2, and also, okay, so all this is aligning properly. Now, before we do anything, we realize that the headset is rounded at the bottom. It's not just straight the way we have ours right now. So I'm going to hit on E, hold down J, and rotate this. Maybe just, I think I'm just going to do with the J. Maybe just a little like this. This is closing very well. Okay, this is fine. Now we can hit on W, and I will zoom in closely and align this edge with this. Let me see. I think maybe we're still going to rotate this a bit. Okay, hit on W, and maybe we can bring this closer to the grid, just like this. Okay, now what we are going to do is to shift right click and hit on mirror, and now you can see what we have here. This is looking so good. Now we can go into the perspective mode, and yeah, everything is looking so good. All right, everything is looking so good. Now to create the head of the handle of the headset, we'll go into the perspective mode. Like we leave all these views here for now. We focus on the front view and also focus on this. Now we're going to shift right click and add a cylinder. The cylinder, we're going to, I think I'm still going to make use of 13, just 13. Okay, and now we'll go ahead on E, and we're going to rotate along the x-axis. Yeah, just like that. What we are going to do now is, let's hit on Ctrl 1 to isolate it for now. Right click, go into the face mode, select every faces, and hit on W first. We're going to deselect all of these, leaving only that behind face. We're going to hold down shift and add this. So we're going to leave only the front face and we'll delete. Okay, this is fine. Now we're going to hit on Ctrl 1 to bring back others. Now let's come into the front view. Let's go into the object mode, hit on 3 and scale this up. Okay, now we have a little bit of error here, so this is actually not going to work. We need a line in the middle completely, but this line is not passing completely, so we're going to delete that. Go into the front view, shift the perspective view, add a cylinder again. We're going to hit on E, J, and rotate this along the z-axis. Now you can see everything along the x-axis. Now you can see we have the straight line. So the goal here is to maintain this line in the middle. So we'll go here on W, hit on T, and reduce the subdivision axis. So if we want to work with this, I think we'll go for 14 or we'll go for 12. But I think I will go for 12. Yeah, 12 is okay. Now we can hit on Control 1, go into the face mode, select everything, hold down Control, the select, hold down Shift, select. Now we can delete. We can go into the front view, go into object mode. Now we have exactly what we want. The meter, so we're going to do an R, and we'll go into scale this up, just like that. Now we'll go into wireframe mode. I think we can still work with more edges. If we try to connect this here, we're going to have a little issue. So we want this to be completely rounded. So we're going to need more. Maybe we can just work with the 14. So or maybe we can just work with we're going to take a look at that now. So we add a cylinder, hit on E, J, and we'll rotate it, hit on W, hit on T, subdivision axis. Before we do that, let's hit on Control 1. Okay, so I think maybe let's go for 21. It's actually going to be the same. So 20, maybe. Yeah, we can work with 20. 20 is accurate, but let's go down to, let's say 16, 18. Yeah, we can work with 18. I don't want too much. I don't want too much of that. So let's go for 16. We'll see how we can work with this. We'll see how we can work with this. Adding 3, it's enough. So we'll go into the face mode, select all this, Control deselect, Shift select. Right now we can delete. Control 1, go into the front view, hit on R. I will go into the object mode, hit on R, and we're going to scale this up just like that. Hit on the view, and we're going to bring this up like this. Okay, yeah, this works. This works. So I think this is now okay. I don't want anything more than this. So this really works. Is this actually aligning? Yeah, it is aligning. Now this, it's not going to be exactly on the edge of this, because on the reference of our headset, it is outside. We only have the inner cushion on this hand of the headset. That is where we have it. Okay, now this is fine. So we go to the side view, and we're going to hit on D and reset the pivot, hit on D, W, and we're going to bring this and try to align it with this. But we're still going to do this again. So now what we are going to do is to go into the front view, go into the face mode, select all the bottom faces and delete the bottom faces. We don't need them. Now we'll go into the perspective view, go into the edge mode, select this loop round, and we'll go into extrude backward. just like that. Now right click, go into face mode, hold down tab, select these faces and delete them. Now let's hit on 3. You can see what we have now, which is a bit okay. All right. We can say we want this to be longer. And now let's undo, go into the object mode. We still have those edges selected. And now when you scale it up, you also have something nice here. So depending on what you want, so I think scaling it up is okay. So I'm just going to scale it up. And it's looking like, I'm just going to leave it that way. And maybe scale it along this axis a bit, just like that. Now we can go into the side view. Maybe what we are going to do, we're just going to add a loop cut in the middle. Hit on the view, go into object mode. Now we're going to use this loop cut to align it to the center of our grid. Okay, I'm going to work with that. Now we'll go into the front view. Let's leave in this. We'll go into edge mode. We can select that loop round and control delete. Select this, hit on R, and we can scale it inward just like that. You can go into object mode and scale it out a bit, maybe just a little again. Okay, now what we are going to do, we're going to hit on Control E to extrude, and we are going to add a little thickness to this. Keep in mind we are in the smooth preview, so let's hit on 1, and I think this thickness work a little. Let's hit on 3. So we want the thickness to be really small, just like that. Now we'll go into the front view, hold on spacebar, mesh display, and reverse. Now, before we do anything like beveling these edges, we'll go into the face mode. We're going to select this loop around the inner loop. Okay, so I think now this is a little bit longer or bigger. Or so let's say that way. So we're going to leave it that way. And we're going to select this. So this is extending. Now we can go into the object mode and just scale this down a little bit, because this is also extending. So we can work with it that way. Maybe just a little scale. Yeah. So we'll go into the face mode, and yeah, we're done selecting the loop. Now we'll shift right click and duplicate faces. Now we select that face, hit on H, but we can't hide the face because we are selecting. So let's go into object mode. Select this, let's hit on 3. Now we can see the other face. So we can select the face, hit on H to hide it. Now select this, hit on 1. Now we're going to select this loop round, hold on shift, select this, and also hold on shift, select hold of this loop, hit on Control B to bevel. Let's hit on 3 to go into the sub mode. Okay, that those edges are okay. So maybe we can turn off chamfer. No, let's leave. Let's see. Yeah, we can turn on chamfer. Now we'll go ahead on M and add a loop there. So we really need that part to be rounded. So what we are going to do is this. Let's undo, hit on 1 to go out. Do we have the bevel? Yeah, we have the bevel. Let's hit on 1. Let's undo the bevel, hit on W. Now we'll go into the object mode, shift right click, insert edge loop 2, and multiple edge loops 2. We're going to add this in the middle, reset this and close this, hit on R, and we're going to scale this out just like that, just like that. Now we're going to select these edges, zoom in, this, 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 and this. And also this, 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 and this. Now we'll go and hit on W. Okay, what is going on? Yeah, we select too much. We're just supposed to select this edge, this edge, this edge, and this edge. Make sure we don't have any wrong edges selected. Okay, now we can take this up just like that. So we'll go into smooth preview. This is what we should have. Let's take it up again. Okay, that is okay. Let's hit on 1. Now we'll go and hit Ctrl Shift plus H to bring back the other face. We'll go into the object mode. We're going to select this and we'll delete it. It's not needed for now. Okay, now we'll go into the face mode. Select all these faces around. Okay, now we're going to shift right click and duplicate faces. Select this, hit on 3, go into the object mode, select this and hit on H. Select this, hit on 1. Now right click, go into the edge mode, select the loop round, select the loop, and maybe we're also going to select all these together. Control B to bevel, hit on 3 to go into subdue mode. Okay, this is looking good. Maybe we can increase. No, let's leave the fraction the way it is, 0.5, and we'll go into no, let's hit on C. Let's turn off the chamfer and let's see. No, not that much. So let's reduce the fraction. Okay, we can work with it. Yeah, we can work with it. Now we're going to hit on Control Shift H to bring this back. So we're going to select it, hit on Control E to extrude, and we're going to add thickness, very serious thickness to this, something like this. All right, this is fine. Now we're going to we'll go into the edge mode. We're going to select this edge, and edge. Also select this edge, and this. Hit on W, and we're going to take it up. Let's hit on 3. Okay, that is what we got. Let's hit on 1. Maybe we can just bring it down and just like this. Okay, now we can go into the edge mode. Select those loop round, and also select this loop round, this, this finally, and this. Hit on Control B to bevel, hit on 3 to go into, and now let's reduce the fraction till it finally connects with this place properly. I think we've gone down too much for the fraction, so we can leave the fraction this way, and maybe later we can scale this inward to match. Now we can go into the object mode and click off. So now this is what we have. We can select this, hit on R, and we're going to scale it inward so that it matches. And maybe it is supposed to be accurate. Maybe no, we're not going to scale for that. Okay, we're just going to make that a design in ours. So this is really going inside. This is really coming in here. So we can scale it out just a bit. Okay, that is fine. Now we can select both of them, hit on W, and bring this down. Okay, now we can click off, and this is what we have. Now we can hit on Alt G, and yeah, so this is your headset. This is how you can model a headset. All right, this is looking so good. This is looking so nice. Now we can save this, shift right click, and smooth to add more divisions to it. Now we can click off, go into the wireframe mode, and everything is looking so good. Now we can go to File, increment, and save. And that is it for today. So I hope by the end of this lesson, you are going to have your own headset perfectly modeled. See you guys the next day.